Okay, so let's start. Today, we are going to continue our study class where we implemented many to many relationship uh, between two tables, and
Right.
we have observed there is a whenever we are going to make a relationship between one table with another table, and that have many to many relationship, right? And while getting data on my get API, we are getting some kind of exceptions. We are not getting properly load data, all the data, right?
Correct.
So so start explain. This is known as a circular reference dependency. That means ki our first class like student, another is the courses, right?
Correct.
So course have a student object. Course have a list of sorry, student have a list of course, and course have a list of students, right? So
Mm.
whenever our API try to get the student details and corresponding course details, they are jumping to the course table. And whenever getting course detail and course detail have a student detail, they are going to again find the student detail and a student detail and course detail, student detail, course detail. So this is known as look like a circular referential issue. And we have a limited number of memory. So whenever we are saying hey student, student name, get list of the course. List of the course you get, and course check list of student, then list of student, then course of student, then list of student, then course of student. And after some times we are getting the stack overflow exception, right?
Right.
So study say ki there are a couple of way to fix it, right? And one way study we discuss, and today we are going to understand some multiple way where we can fix this issue, right? So that we can avoid this circular referential issue, right? Sometimes mistake overflow, right? So let's
Right.
continue and check how we can properly able to see our many to many relationship. Okay, so let's as usual start the basic our start start dot spring.io. Just create one basic application, right?
Right.
And as usual, the Maven project here. Take any uh, package name. This is a many to many demo. Okay, and just Java 21. And as dependency, we need a Spring Web dependency. We need a JPA dependency. Uh, we need a MySQL dependency, and let's take a Lombok, right?
Right.
Lombok for setter get, right? These are the basic dependency we have done, and generate the project, open it, and just uh, ex- expand it, structure them, unzip, and after unzip, go to the inside folder, and open a project, right?
Right.
And that's basic database setup we have. So let's test them, open them, and so yesterday we are using like this database many to many. Let's use the same database credential, right?
Right.
So let me open this project, and whenever you are downloading any applications, first you have to verify. Let me just sync all your POM file. POM have a note all the dependency required, right? So whatever the detail you mention, com.gl, everything mentioned here, Java version mentioned here, good. And here your dependency like Spring Wave, MySQL, and Lombok. Notice MySQL is not completely full uh, path, so we have to take from the Maven, right?
Right.
MVN MySQL repository, latest one. So this is the maybe latest one, and just copy and paste our complete dependency version right here. And we are also need one dependency about this Swagger UI, right? You want to test from the Swagger.
Yes. Yes.
So Spring Doc Open API, Spring Doc Open API, and just take this is the first dependency. Okay, this is dependency. So this dependency we have to add here. So finally, these are dependency we are good. MySQL and Swagger dependency, this, and just refresh them, right? And whenever you are going to connect the MySQL, we have to detail the MySQL details like here application property. We have to add this MySQL credential detail, right?
Right.
As usual, go to the application, main, resources, application property, and update here. It's done. It's done. It's done. Our main class, it's done. And anything, let's as usual, check this database exists or not, right? MySQL. You can log in with the root password and just let's I if existing database drop, and after that I'm just create the right same database. Okay, database is created, already created yesterday, user and database is okay. And let's start application and check it's working or not as usual, right? So this is the basic configurations. Whenever you are going to set up new applications, you can use, or if you are already created, just reuse, right? But whenever we are starting demo, it would be good we can start fresh so that we can understand each and everything. So most probably your application is started without any kind of bug defect. It's
Right.
good. So we are good to let's start. So let's today I'm going to continue the same example which we complete yesterday, and what are the problems, and after that we are going to find the multiple resolution, right?
Right.
So yesterday we create one class student, right? Student, right? And student say, hey, student have a like a one field long ID, student ID is to student ID, okay? And here say name, string name, and we need a and similarly like a one class more. Yesterday say this is the course, right?
Course. Yeah.
COURS course, and course have a ID, course have a name. That's good. And we are say now our student can have a enroll set of courses. Okay, so we have a make a relationship here. So as of now, uh, how to that means one student can have a enroll multiple courses. So here we need a collection. Collection may be list, collection may be set, anything, right? The list of courses, right? List of course, okay, courses, right? So similarly, this is the student know what are the courses I am studying. Good, but sometime I want to know, hey, I want course also know which number of students, which students are studying to me, right? Because
Right.
this is the unidirectional. One direction we know the list of courses, but course cannot know which students are studying. So similarly, kind of make a relationship the bidirectional. Say, hey, list of student, right?
Right.
Student, students. So here say at least we know Course also know ki what number of a student, and list also know what number of a student, right?
Right.
This is till now the Java model. I say, hey, JPA, can you consider same as a database table? So you can say, hey, go to say entity, right? Entity. Similarly, say, hey, this is the entity, right?
Right.
Entity means now the database table going to create it for the student and similarly the table this should be ID column and it would be auto generated, right?
Right.
Generated. Okay. So this is the things, and similarly here also say, hey, this is the ID field, and this is the generated value. Till now there is no problem. Okay. Whenever we are yesterday, we are say now I want to make a many to many relationship. So yesterday say we have a basic annotation, say many to many, right? Just add this
Right.
annotation, and similarly here also add many to many. I want to bidirectional, right? So yesterday notice whenever this code run, yesterday notice we are find this annotation say ki, hey, this entity say ki, I am going to create one student table. It's okay, there is no problem. Whenever you say this is the entity course, they are going to one more table course. It's okay. There is no problem. This is a student table. This is a course table. Here say many to many. The by default internally, Hibernate say, okay, I am going to create one relationship table, student and between the course. So they say create one table, student underscore course, right? Similarly, down here also I'm saying, hey, I'm going to create here also student. Here this many to many relationship inside they also going to create one for course underscore student. Yesterday we observed they are going to create two relationship table, right? One is student course and one is the course student. Why?
Yesterday
Because
it created two
right,
extra.
yes,
Yeah.
right. So I'm explaining ki whenever you say many to many relationship, by default this annotation say ki I am going to create one table course underscore relationship. They create
Right.
one course underscore relationship. I here also create the same student underscore course. This is due to the many to many mapping. By
Right.
default, many to many no. Whenever you type many to many, I am going to create one new table for this and this relationship, right? Similarly, here say many to many. This means I have not say I am going to create this and this by default. So whenever I am going to start this code by default, two relationship table created. I both have a same logic. This is the student table and this is the course table, right? Student and course. This many to many relationship create this way. Student underscore course. And down mapping created again same table. Course underscore student. Both have a ID column of this, right? Both have a ID column of this, right? So this similar table they by default created. So I don't want unnecessary two tables are created. So yesterday we have figured out how to fix them, right? I don't want the two mapping table created just for two tables, right? One mapping table is sufficient, right? So how to fix it? So let's, as usual, we need a setter getter for this. So we use a Lombok, right?
Yeah.
Getter, getter, and setter. Okay, and right, getter and
Right.
setter, and let's also here getter and setter, getter and just setter. Okay, it's okay. So till now, what happened? We are at least whenever a start application by default they are going to create the two tables, right?
Right.
Uh, so let's test it. Okay, let's test it. So always be remember whenever you are going to do many to many relationship, please ensure that you really need a true table or not. I think not required because both are the same kind of a structure. But we have to tell Spring framework, hey Spring, no, don't create new one. So notice here by default lots of table created. Notice course table created and course student table created. Okay, similarly student table created and student again student course also created here. Notice. So let's check the database. Go to the MySQL database. Use many to many, many, and so tables. Okay. So notice here two tables are created here, right?
Right.
Student course, course student. Reason due to this many to many mapping. Here is a many to many mapping means course underscore students they created. Notice here course underscore student, right? And similarly, I say here many to many relationship. They create students underscore courses. They created here student underscore courses. And if you look the your select describe describe and your this table. Okay. So notice they have a two column student ID, course ID. And let me same table this, right? So both have a notice same course ID, student ID, course ID, student ID. So there is no make sense. It's similar kind of fill the two table, right? So how to avoid? Simply say here, go to the Spring annotation. Here say, hey, I just want one table is student underscore courses, but I don't want many to many mapping. Again, create the new table. So here we have to tell some annotation. How to say? Hey, say manage map by, and say you don't create new table. Already this mapping created, right? This mapping. So just use the same one, right? This, right? So here now you are telling, hey, my to many to many notation, don't create new. You are not the going to create new table, but you can just reuse that is created by your this mapping. This is the mapping already many to many. It's clear. And question ki how we know this annotation we can use. So yesterday I say please follow this. This is the why say how we know, because these all these things are taken care by your Hibernate. We follow the Hibernate documentation they mention. If you want, you can avoid them. So just go to the here say hey Google Hibernate documentation. Okay, documentation, and just go to the Hibernate documentation, whatever latest version, and here you can find the complete all annotation. Just go to the user guide, because we have user guide. Click here user guide and just read out what the annotation you want. Like you want to many, just here search content many to many. This is the all the annotation. Notice here many to one to many, one to one, many to many. This is the many to many annotation. So many to many notation, we study, we have a two directional, unidirectional and bidirectional. Unidirectional means just we had to many annotation, and the second dependency table don't add anything, right? This is means unidirectional. But I want to bidirectional. That means they say, hey, you can use this bidirectional. This is the bidirectional. Bidirectional say you to many, and the next table, your dependency table, address table, also use the many to many. Notice here say ki managed by address. So this annotation help us to use the same table that is already created by your this annotation, address annotation, right?
So when we say mapped
Hmm.
by address, that means they will not create any more address.
No. They are not going to say, hey, suppose many to many have a responsibility to create mapping table, but say map by already courses. So he say, okay, already courses are mapped. This is the courses already they created. I am going to use the same table.
Okay.
So this is the just hint. Okay. So all the documentation you can read from here. Hibernate have a list of all the documentation. Very good example. Each and everything they created, right? So
Right.
whatever we are learning, teaching, because we are using some technology, Hibernate, yeah, Spring Data, yeah, JPA, so we have to follow the same directions which they supposed to, right? So all these
Okay.
mappings are here available. All the formula, all the documentation you can do, read out. any confusion, any doubt, just read this documentation. Well, example, they are declared, right? For all kind of mapping, right?
Hibernate is for all the
Database
uh,
communication between the Java to MySQL or any database, right?
okay.
Internally, our Spring Data JPA project use this Hibernate to talk to the database, right? So it's good. So
Yeah.
let's stop this application again. Start and we it. So let's stop this and again start application, right? And it should not create the two table. So one thing clear, many to many, whenever you're going to bidirectional, means both directions, you have to ensure that you don't use this mapped by you can use, right? So that only one mapping table are exist, right?
Right.
Okay, you have to, okay, I drop the table, we have to create table as well as. I dropped the database so that new table created again, right? So that existing one new not created, right?
Yeah.
And in this time it should, yeah. So let's use use tables and so tables. So notice is this time course table and student table and only one student course mapping. It's clear. This is as per
Right.
the. So now it's good. Till now there is no problem. Yesterday we solved. Now we are going to understand how make a. So today we are going to understand more things. So first your student and second your course. So I am going to create some student first, right? And some courses first, right? And then we are going to make a relationship between both. This student are studying A courses, or this student are reading B courses. That this is the mapping table where say student ID 1 read the subject 2 and student 1 understands read the subject 3, right? This is the mapping we are going to create. So we are going to create the some REST endpoint. First create this student and second create two uh, courses and then make a mapping endpoint, right? So let's do. It's clear. So, till now, any doubt with the database design or model design? It's very clear, right?
Yeah.
So as usual, let's create one uh, interface. Interface student repo. Okay. Extend inheritance from the JPA repository, right?
Right.
This is the one way, and similarly, one more create repository course. Okay, I want to course both interface, a course repo, okay, and extend JPA JPA course and log. Okay, these two create, right? And similarly, let's create a one controller, right? At
Right.
the rate REST controller class. Uh, Many to many mapping controller, okay? Many to many many mapping controller, okay? You can give any name, right? So here we are going to create a first course and then student anything, right? So let's one create a method public uh, create method create post create let's
Yeah.
course.
Create. Right.
Uh, First, we are going to create the post or a course both, right? Create
Yeah.
a student, okay, and student we have and say I want to return a student. What is it created and need the student repository. So student repository, and here say also need this and need the constructor initialization, okay, and here say, hey student repository dot save my student, right? And same we return, right? So this is my which mapping? Post mapping, right?
Yeah.
Post we are creating. Similarly, let's create course as well as. So here say I am going to create course. Okay. Similarly, I am going to create course. Okay, courses, and we need a course repository to save course repository, and here you can also initialize in the constructor initialize, right? And here say, hey course repository dot save course repository dot save, okay, and course. This is the two, and also let's create one my get mapping, get check all the course created or not, right?
Right.
Get mapping and say, hey, I'm going to say courses, okay, courses, and here say public list of courses and all course courses, okay, all courses, and just return here uh, return courses repo dot find all, right?
Right.
Similarly, let's create for our get mapping for the uh,
For the
student
for the student.
student student, okay, students, change the repository students, and here say student repo dot find all.
Right.
Method name should be students, okay. And similarly, this mapping for clear, this is the post course creation, and this is the student to student creation, okay. This is the basic endpoint we created, right?
Right.
So I think there is no doubt. Just two endpoint: create course and create what student, and similarly get method. And later we can add the delete, update, everything later, but right, if needed, right?
Right.
So as of now, okay, and so let's run it, okay, and create some courses and some student, and later we are going to make a relationship between that.
Right now, no relationship. Right.
No relationship, right? Yeah. So what say? We in creation exception, many controllers, see what they are saying. No default constructor. Okay. So no default constructor means we have to add the annotation default constructor, right?
Right.
Here we can add, hey, we need a no arg constructor, Lombok, right? No argument constructor, right?
Oh, okay. 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 I see.
Construct are this means they have a lots of annotation Lombok, getter, setter, no arg constructor, all argument constructor they want they can create, right?
Right. Right.
So see again, let's create, because internally Hibernate or JPA need a default constructor to call this create the student object, right?
Right.
It's again saying something. What saying? Many to many controller in it. What saying? Very unhappy. What say Java lang? No such method found. Many to many. What are saying? Creating bean many to many mapping controller define this many to many class fail to many controller. No default constructor found. Again, no default constructor found. Oh, which class say many to many? What default constructor? Why say? argument here. This is the class I am created close. This why this should be fine. Final private. No, it should not required. Okay.
Right.
Uh, I say this is a course. Let initialize default constructor. Again, say what they say. Might be not initialize. What say? Cancel. Why they are saying student and too many controller? What is this thing? Constructor initialization may not be initialized. Why?
Is this for
Okay.
this?
No, no,
This.
no. Confusion. Confusion. This is the two constructor I am created here.
Oh, okay, okay.
This confusion. Oh, due to that, this is one constructor. Now it's sufficient for both, right?
Oh, so you create extra
Yes.
earlier. Okay.
Okay. So let's again say by default IntelliJ sometime do extra things. So hope it should if this time works. It's work, right? Good. So till now, let's test from our local host. Use the Swagger, right?
Yeah.
So by default, we created the uh, student and this right courses.
First, we
So
need to create
so let's
post.
create the course, okay? And I'm going to just okay. We are missing here. We are not passing this as a request body, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
A request body, right? We need a request body, okay? So that we need the receive. Stop and restart.
Okay, so
Due to
that
that,
means if you take from the body
from here they are not giving option to type the value, right? So I say
because
ki
you did
how
not specify the body.
yeah. So they are not receiving the input to us, right? Good. And let's again refresh them and create course. Now they have give option right here.
Right,
Try
right,
out. So I am just going to create with the these are the automatic generator. I am just going to create only the what here a course maybe course Java, right? One
right.
course Java, one course SQL, and one course maybe C++, right? Three course I created, right?
Okay,
So let's these are three created and check our get endpoint works or not. Get endpoints and try out and check. So notice these three uh, courses created, right? Java,
right.
SQL, C++. And let's check database. Uh, select star from course. Okay. So three courses created, right? Similarly, let's I'm going to create some student, right?
Right,
And create a student. Only I'm going to interested to create the student, only student all. Okay. Here just say, hey, what is the student name? Student name Anis,
mm,
one student, and Rehan, two student, and let's one more student, Smith. Okay. So I created three student, and let's check all student I'm getting or not. Try out. So these are the till now I'm three student, right? But notice three student don't have a courses, don't have course, right?
right.
No course. And similarly, you look this. courses, execute all the courses name, but no student, right?
Right.
Because till now we have not make any mapping. So here let's check our database check also. This is the student. So now we have a this table data, this table data. Now notice the mapping table. There is no mapping data, right?
Right.
Because we not created any mapping. Now, no data. So we are going to create one more endpoint that make a mapping between this, right? One more endpoint make a mapping between the which student is studying which subject, right? So let's create one more endpoint. I'm not going to do from the backend, right? I don't want to create the mapping from the SQL, right? So let's create one endpoint that make a mapping, right? So here say means we are going to update the record, right? Update the table.
Right.
So we are going to use the put mapping, and mapping say like you can say what name say mapping, just mapping, uh, mapping. Okay.
That means edit. Is it called edit? Put.
Edit. Yes, just mappings. Mappings. Student slash course, right? Student mapping student with course, right? With course, right? So here say students should be students, courses should be courses, right? Yes, always be whenever all that means they written multiple courses like multiple students, right? So we have to follow some kind of coding guidelines, right? So here I'm just going to create one mapping student with coding, student with courses, right? This is the one endpoint. And this what return, maybe return the student, whatever the student we are mapped, right? And mapping. Okay, mappings. So in mapping, what do you think? What kind of input we need? We need the student ID and the course ID, which we want to map, right? So we need a
Right.
two. One is the uh, long student ID, right? And
Right.
one need long course ID. Course ID. Two variable we needed, right? And just check these two variables are matched together, right? So they need a again like here a request parameter. Let's okay, a request parameter.
Right.
So you have a two parameter. Now just make a mapping. So first, whatever the student, we have to let's say, hey, already we have a student repository. Student repository say, hey, find by ID, right?
Right.
Find by find by ID. I am pass the student ID. So I know what is my student. So let's say, uh, if not found, then what will do? R else throw, and then say, well, one thing we'll later part understand ki whenever some ID not found, how we can respond to the UI. Hey, your student ID is incorrect. Our student ID not found. Some error message, right? Here say, hey, something error message like a throw exception, like a new runtime exception, something, and say, ki, hey, student ID is not found, right?
Right.
Might be found in this way. Okay? This is the way you can say. Uh, Student ID is not found. Here say bracket plus plus, right? So in this way you can say student you can get, and similarly let's get from this another course repository dot find by id. Find by id pass the course id and or else okay course, okay, and then similarly just write the mention. This is the things we can give the severe message like course id not found, right?
Right.
And now, if notice now make a mapping. So now students, notice the student Pojo student object have a courses. So I am going to say, hey student, this is your course. So here we just write say, hey student, dot courses dot add and this course. See your course. This is the course. This is the course
Right.
ID. This is the course, and this is the student. I make a mapping here. So I'm saying, ki, hey student, this is your course, right? And just say, hey student repo, just save this information. Save student, right?
Right.
So, and just return this student as well as whatever. Right? So here we are making a mapping. We are say, ki, this is the student, this is the course. Currently they are independent, right? I am saying
Right.
no. Hey student, this is your course. This. So whatever mapping is customer say, user say, I am going to add a mapping and just save in the database. Whenever I am going to save in the database, at that time, our string data JP are going to save data in this mapping table. Currently, notice there is no record. Whenever I am going to save this record, now they are going to student and course are relationship. Because here you mention ki student have a list of courses. Due to that, say ki list means here you add with a list dot add, right?
Right.
So let's restart and check this mapping part, right? It's mapping or work or not, right?
Right.
It's started. Yes, started and refresh this. Now we are getting the one more endpoint here, like a mapping, right? Mapping student with course. So let's student exist, try out and say yes, lots of student exist, and similarly courses. Try out. We have a courses exist and course ID 1, 2, 3, right? And
Right.
here our student ID 1, 2, 3. So here let's do the mapping. Whenever we are going to do mapping, try out. Here say student ID and course ID. Let's student ID 1 map with the course ID 1, right? Because here student ID 1, student Anis. Anis going to study course ID 1 means Java, right?
Right.
So now here, whenever you save, now our problem come. Notice we are getting the problem. Notice here, study the same problem we are studying. This is the Jackson error. And why? Study say because the referential notice illegal stack overflow something error you are getting. Notice
Right.
here stack overflow comes in not responding, right? And notice if you look the database, they are properly instant data, right? Mapping happens,
Right.
but problem is only to displaying the data. There is no problem with the saving. Our concept is implemented, but problem we are not able to display those informations on UI. Why? Because now you are making relationship between this student to the course, right? And whenever you are checking, hey student this one, I have a course, this course, and this course have also relationship with the student. They are going to make a loop, right? In
Right.
this, so we have to make this loop somehow stop. Okay, how to don't do referential circularity. So for that, we have a couple of solutions. Okay, let's do one by one, right? Let's do
Right.
one by one. So how will do? It's a basic way, simple way, multiple way, but let's try any one of them, right? So problem is only this two relationship, this this two relationship, many to many. If no many to many relationship, there is no problem. You have to this circular reference we have to break somehow.
Right.
For breaking, we have a four solution. Notice this problem is not with our Java code. This problem, Java code have a list of object, but now from Java code they are going to convert JSON object, a Java object. Uh, converting to Java to JSON is we are using the Jackson. So same here, exception you notice this is the exception come from our Jackson side,
Hmm.
Jackson binding, data binding. So this Jackson annotations give some hint. If you are getting some problem, such you can avoid them. So how to avoid? Maybe multiple option. You say somehow ignore this field. Means some two
Right.
is whenever two string method, I have to remove the courses. So somehow any field you have to say remove them. So here just I explore there are three options or four options you have how to avoid this Jackson problem, right? One annotation, this is the annotation. Two more annotation this or two more annotation this. Anyone we can, let's try simple, just JSON ignore this, say I am just ignoring this field. You are just go any field and say hey ignore JSON, means I don't want to manage their courses. Just say one field, say hey JSON ignore. This is the one solution. I am
Okay.
just ignoring this field, just name is sufficient for me. I don't want to make a circular referential problem, and just restart the server. So this is the one way to use this field JSON ignore. That means now whenever we are going to build the Java object, we are just ignoring this field. And let's start it and go and test our maybe student. Okay, test. So notice here I am getting the data here. Our Anis have a enroll Java, right? Similarly, if you go to the course side and check the courses, notice courses don't have a corresponding field student, because you say I am going to ignore this course field student.
Okay, okay. Hmm.
This is the one way solve the problem, but you have to ignore one field. Means
Hmm.
you are saying here student side. Student, if I'm looking this, just maybe stop them. And here say I'm looking this student, then I know this student are studying the Java subject, right? But if you look this Java subject who read, I don't know. Why? Because here there is no referential, because you are saying, hey, ignore JSON. These fields are you are ignoring. So this is the one way. But I don't want to ignore. At least give me the name of a student, right? Don't ignore everything, right? So what other option we have? We can use, hey, this is the one way, one solution you can solve. But sometime no, I want you should give me at least the name which this Java study by which student, right? So for that we have a use not this annotation, but we have another annotation that is known as a JSON ignore property. Some specific field you want to ignore, not the all. Next option you can go here, say no, I am not going to complete ignore. I am say hey JSON ignore properties. A specific property I am going to ignore. And here say value is equal to, and what this ignore I am going to just courses. Here just ignore the courses. So this is the one way. Here you can ignore the particular course. You can just display the student, but don't ignore the courses. Just restart, and this is the you can little bit find your solution.
So we can only add to one table,
Uh,
not other table.
not in the referential you can break anywhere. You can add both sides, not an issue. But
Okay,
problem in the
let's.
referential means you can break any loop. That means break, right?
Okay.
And let's again test this endpoint now. Courses. So now notice a courses Java read by Anis name, right? And let's
Right.
look here. Uh, student. Student, still notice Anis read by the your Java.
Right.
Do some more mapping. I am saying now student 2 reading the one itself, one course. Execute them, and let's the database, they have a mapping student 2 reading the subject ID 1, right? And let's check here is all student. Notice student just here student 1 reading this uh, student 1 Assis uh, uh, this Java written by the two student Anis and Rehan, right? And notice Rehan also studying this. Similarly, you can go here and the courses side. This is notice Java read by the two students, right? Anis and Rehan, right? Is it clear? Here you can also ignore something. If you want to ignore, I want here subject name. I'm only this name. I don't want to this student again, right? Here I want to ignore this as well as, right? This is sufficient for me. The Rehan is studying the Java, but I don't know again. Java is read by all the student here. They are saying the complete hierarchy. Means this is the Rehan studying the Java. It's okay, but Java subject read by this student as well as. I want to ignore this. You can also do it, right? How to do it? Similarly, here you can same property you can use here. Say, hey, whenever I'm going to study student, at that time I'm printing the only course name, but not course under the student name. I don't want this, right? Only name is sufficient for me. Here you can use, hey, I am going to, as per your need, I am going to ignore courses, but not all courses, just this property. This is the field I want to ignore a student. So here you just say ignore. And after restart, and then you observe they are not displaying this student information because you are ignoring the student. Only name and ID I'm okay, right? So these are some kind of a annotation. Just started. Just started. To avoid such circular referential issue. And let's test again this, and again you test, and notice here I am only the Anis reading the Java, right? Rehan reading the Java, right? And this may be Smith. Three students are not reading anything. Let's make a mapping. Say, hey, student three are going to read. Let's say subject 2, right? Make a mapping. Mapping done. Let's check database or mapping done. Yes, Reha, 3 student number 3 reading subject number 2, right? So go here and check the, notice here Anis reading the Java, Rehan using the Java, and Smith reading the SQL. And similarly, if you go to this courses, either course, and check courses, and notice courses also Java read by two name Anis and Rehan, and SQL read by Smith, right? Maybe no one third language course C++ offer. Maybe let's C++3 just assign to the some student. Let's mapping and say, hey, 3 students also studying the course 3, and execute them and check the mapping. Yes, mapping created. 3 now are course enroll 2 and 3. And again test our course. So currently this course don't have any student. And if I again test it and notice this course C++ enrolled by Smith as well as, right? So these are the simple annotations which help us to avoid break circular referential issue. Just ignoring some field, right? So these are the simple way. Just ignore which property you want to ignore. And sometime there are some other solution also have you can explore. maybe some solution. These are the three solutions I have noted down. One is the class level annotation. Just in class level annotation you mention here, it will avoid the problem. Or two more annotations maybe explore: Jackson back and Jackson back reference and manage references, and JSON ignore. These are the three solutions you can use. Anyone. Three all tested, it's work, right?
Yeah, value equal to student. Is it means the student object? The
Not, let's say here say in student class say ki, hey Jason, ignore property students. What do you mean with student? Means this courses, this go to the course class, course classes, and course class have an id, name, and this is student. This ignore this field, just print the id and name, right?
oh, okay, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
So
okay,
here say in the response you notice I am just getting id and name, ignoring the other part, right?
right.
So here, similarly, whenever I am going to print course, now I am going to print the course. The course time say ki ignore courses, means ki in this student field, print the student ID name, but ignore this courses field. I don't want to so ignore actually, right?
Okay, okay, I see. Yeah.
So this circular reference integrity you can avoid. This is at the variable level, right? At the variable level, right? But
Hmm.
sometimes someone maybe want at the class level annotation, you can use this annotation like here. This also break our
So
reference.
when you avoid that
Mm,
value, how
mm.
do you see that on the REST API on Swagger?
No, no, I am saying ki, hey, whenever a student object going to print, not saying ki ignore course field. I am saying ki, hey, ignore property of this course. This course go inside the course, and which property you have to ignore? This one, students.
Right.
Here you can print our ID and name. So let me here show the output.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay, okay. I see what you mean.
1 minute. This is the go
This is
to
a
the
little. This one was really confusing and difficult.
uh, uh, just in here we have to just break what kind of you want out. Notice in the case of here our student and get student, here say you give me the ID and name student, and course, under course you need the ID and name only. If you are not mentioning, let's say I am not mentioning here, so in the student, I am not just mention this, I am not mention them, right? That means what happened, they are going to print student ID, name, and courses as well. As in the courses whatever field, course ID, name, and student, they are going to print again. So let's refresh them,
Right.
right? So
Right.
currently here they print ID, name, and courses only print ID, name. They are not printing student. Why? Because now let's get started. It and let's start it. And let's me again. I hit the same endpoint and look the observe. Here say student ID, name, and courses. Courses also conduct ID, name, and against the student. Right? You are noticing here
Which one?
again. You are getting the student output.
Right.
So this I want to avoid. Why you are again saying my name again? Ki I'm enrolling you, right?
Right. Right.
This is our objective. You want, it's okay for you. Don't use any annotation. Don't use any annotation. That's break. Only the problem, only the solution. A, in circular referential, any one side you must mention. Any one side you have to just ignore some property. Else I comment this as well as, then again referential problem come, right? Again I comment here, I'm not writing anything, then again the referential problem come, because your uh, object go in the loop.
I see. I see. I
Our object,
understand.
we
Mhm.
have to just tell Jackson, hey, don't make circular referential to each other. If I
Circular referential.
uh, means ki now student have a course have a student have a course have a student, right? And if
Hmm.
you run it, you are getting some error. Notice error. And here notice Jackson problem again, right?
Okay.
Yesterday we are
So basically, the idea is when we work with course, we
Mm,
just fill out those for the value
mm,
with um, uh, the course object,
mm.
the
Problem
variable.
is that why system is not recognized, because here you are design such class, you co student, and this is the course, right? Learn, understand, this is the course, and here say student have id, name, and list of courses, right?
Mm,
List of courses here. So whenever I'm going to build id, name, and course, again I jump here course, the course say id, name, again here say list of the student, right?
right,
Again they are going to the build list student, again student build this again go to the course, again course name, course id, again student, right? So this
right,
become a loop, they never end. So here we have to break, hey, you build the student id, name, and go to the courses, course field id, name, and just ignore this field, don't do. So your circular dependency break, right?
right, right,
Or simply say you name student this, this, and ignore this field, means you are breaking the circular dependency. So in anyhow you have to break this circular referential issue, right?
right. Now, now at the end, what was the last uh, uh, the mapping that how that function, the last map that you
Endpoint,
created?
yeah, mapping.
Endpoint, yeah.
Mapping
Endpoint, yeah.
simply say this is the student id and this is the course id, right?
Okay.
And from this student id I say find by student id, this is my student, right? This is the
Hmm.
course id, I am say find by course id, I am course id, right? Now student the course, I say hey student, your course is this, because student class have a course list, right?
Right,
So I say, hey student, what is your courses? I'm going to add one course to you. And after they
right.
say, hey, the student, just save them.
So you are adding a student into the course.
Courses. So whenever you are making any mapping, by default, this mapping table data going to insert.
Mhm.
This is the by default your Spring Data JPA. Okay, here the student have a list of course. So, you are adding me course. You are adding me. This is the course. So I am going to save this in the many to many mapping table, right?
Right.
So due to that, they are saving in the many to many table.
And then you are returning the student.
Just your option. You want to return here. You want to return or change the void or whatever you want, right?
Right, right, right. Yeah.
So if you are not breaking anything, you are facing this problem.
Hmm.
And instead of saying I'm not going to the field level annotation, I'm just you can use this annotation. This is the one more annotation known as a class level annotation. Just mention the class level annotation and they are break this referential integrity.
Yeah. How do you, is it easier?
uh, all are option, they have some process. Let's say I'm going to on a student class and simply say, hey, ignore json, ignore identity info. Problem here, I am going to ignore any one fields, and just you have to mention this is the generator class, this is the generator, and here say object generator, object generator, object generator dot property, property generator, I think, yes, property generator dot class. Okay, and here
Right.
say which property I want to. Here you mention you want to break id, name, anything's mentioned here. You are just key, I want to ignore the id field, the id is ignore. So again same thing here, different way. Any now student class you mentioned, the student class break, or any place you can write this annotation in a
Okay,
both
okay.
side.
It's same
Or
thing, same thing.
same,
Yeah.
here say on a core side you can say just break this, and whenever you start it will again the break the circular referential issue. The objective is that just you have to break the loop which you created, right? This because I created such mapping, right?
Right.
And if you run it, it will solve our problem. And let's go here and just uh, run it, and now I'm getting the error, right? Notice I am getting the all student here. Student Anis have a Java course, and this Java course are studied by the two students as well as, because there is not. And similarly go to the course and course, notice here this, and here notice course ID only come, notice here ID. Because why this ID come? Because you mentioned ki only consider ID part. Don't consider name, and all are the ignore. All are the ignore. Only ID is a consider, right? If you have change
Right.
name, I want to change name. So here by default they are printing name, and all other fields they are ignored.
Right.
So just restart and notice after that. Here notice in the course only know ki uh, this is the only ID part. What the ID part? Here I am get the name as well as now, because I say no, consider as a name attribute, right? Here I am name, right?
Right.
And let's started and test. So lots of permutation combination have, but simple way you can either JSON ignore. That's very simple, right?
Right.
And let's test. But we should have there are multiple approach to solve. Yesterday I also say there are multiple way. Now notice here I am getting the course name Java, right?
Right.
Here you can decide which attribute you want. Here the name of this
Right.
attribute. This or this. So this is the another way you can address the problem.
Right.
Okay, or maybe someone might be interested. This is the another way as well as you can try this annotation as well as. This is also problem same thing, right?
Right.
Manage and back. Just manage annotation and back annotation. This also internally do just looping the break references. And all are the good till now. So my preference will always use this JSON ignore. Let's also explore this one. If you are not writing any annotation here, no annotation here, if you restart, you are getting the same problem. But you want to break, maybe using this two as well as anyone. Uh, JSON manage reference and back reference. You have to just mention. Go to just let's test this as well as, and server is started, and let's test here our course API, course API, and notice we are getting the again problem, because again we are not breaking this section problem. So again in this time let's use this annotation, different annotation. Means just there are multiple way you can just use this annotation. Your Jackson manage reference, right? So here
Right.
go. This is also on the field level. Here you can say, hey, at the rate Jackson manage reference. Okay. And here you just restart. And whenever you have to mention, here we have to write the back reference here. This is our back reference from where they are going to. Oh, it started. So these two annotations are also solve the purpose. So because these are the problem related to the Jackson annotation, Java to JSON object conversion. Due to that, these are different annotations. We have options. Okay. So let me test. Okay, test again. Still getting a problem because we are still getting a problem because we are not using this back reference, right? Yes, say you are a manage annotation, then use the back reference as well as. These are the same time you have to use the both annotation and both side, right? So here I am using this manage reference, and here I am say at the rate JSON back reference, right? Okay, and now restart your. In this way, you have to make a any hint to our framework so that they are going to the break this circular issue. And let me check. All is working, and again let's test it. Notice I'm getting a data, right? So in this way, notice all the data we are getting, and both sides. This is the our student and course, and similarly go to the student. This is the student and check student. This student also getting the name. Notice here, I am not getting here, but who are my what the subject we are studying. So which subject you want, where you have to write the manage. So whenever you say manage, manage means they are displaying this. Back means they are just uh, not displaying. You just reverse them. Then student, notice student. I am here the back reference means students details are not you are getting, right, but the subject student you are getting right here. Subject name and corresponding student. If you want to reverse the relationship, you will get the different out. I am change this to here, right, and here to here. You have to decide which you want, which you don't want, right? So now in this case, manage means this sources, student sources, courses you can find, but in the case of student courses, you cannot find this student. This is the back, it's just out, you can say, and just restart. So these are the just technique you can say, and I'm more preferable about this way, JSON ignore property, because we can tweak the field wise, right?
Right.
And this is come and just restart it. Okay. And let's again now test again this endpoint. So notice now at this times, now courses you are not getting any detail, and go to this here student. Previously student are not getting detail, now students are getting detail. No students are getting detail, right? Students know my courses, right? So here you have to decide whenever you are going to use this manage resources, where you type the back means this informations are going to JSON ignore, look like this, same like just mention the JSON ignore, look like the same problem here, back references, right? The
Right.
same problem. And here manage means this must be so. So good option, just this is the same thing on good option, don't do anything, don't do anything, just say JSON ignore. JSON ignore means JSON ignore say I don't display this field, just flat, and you have to break the circular referential. But sometimes no, I don't at least display this, but some specific which is the problem, you can ignore them. Then you can use this one, right? The best way use this one. Which a specific problem are making the circular referential dependency, use them. So this is the same thing like a manage, right? So my suggestion, don't ignore completely this student. You can use this annotation like a specific field-wise ignoration. If you say JSON ignore, this complete student fields are missing from this course, right? So in students there is no problem, right? In student there is no problem. You are getting all student, right? Details, very good. But in the case of course, you are just getting the course name, but no detail about the which student they are reading, right? So my preference is don't skip all the things, just use this one. Is- At least problem is not the student. Problem is student contain the course, right? This is the problem, right? This makes a circular referential. You have to just use this one, right? This is the property you can use, and they solve the problem, right? So it's know how to solve this circular referential problem. Yesterday we faced this issue, right?
Right.
And this look like more manageable. Just run it and test API. You are getting the here your complete details, student details, and similarly go to the here like student, and students also getting details, right?
Right.
The best option you can use the this annotation, right? Uh, this avoid possible, but we have an option you can do, but we should know these are the multiple way we have, right? but use
Right.
this, right? JSON ignore, uh, and similarly here as well as use this. This would be avoid, this would be avoid, and this should be use. This is my personal choice, and but depend upon our use case, right? Right?
Right.
JSON ignore property, and which the fields you want to ignore, just tell him. Good.
Yeah.
So one thing more, study we observe whenever we are, let tell me first, so the problem, then we have to solve the problem. Sometime you found its application now working fine in the both side. You go to the student side, or now you are getting a student. Now I am getting complete. Hey, this is the Anis have a Java course, Rehan have a another course, and Smith have a two courses, SQL and C++, right? And
Right.
similarly in the courses, course endpoints, and course endpoints know, hey, this course Java is studied by the two person, Anis and Rehan, and similarly SQL read by the only Smith, and C++ read by Smith. So in this way, complete many to many mapping relationship you can view on the response, right?
Right.
This relationship only possible from this mapping table. This is the mapping table which say which students are mapping. So in the backend side, in the database, these are the tables are playing all the role. Hey, student ID 1 is studying the one subject. Student 2 is studying the one subject. Student 3 is studying the two subject, 2 and 3, right?
Right.
All the magics play by this mapping table, right?
I see.
And else, this is your student information. This is your course information, independent two tables, right?
Right.
How they are linked to each other using this mapping table, right? How this mapping table created? Just by one single annotation, many to many, right?
Right.
Just mention many to many internally, Hibernate do for you. Create multiple mapping table. And whenever you are going to save, and your student, any object, have a courses, they are going to store in the mapping table internally, right?
Right.
And I'm trying to say here what the problem. So let's here all student, and study notice I am just taking variable and printing here. I am say, hey, uh, dot s out right here.
Right.
I'm say started notice I'm just printing here s out all here. I want to just check what they're returning. And what happened here, I'm just include the two string. Till now there is no problem. If you restart and I'm calling this all student, sometime whenever I'm writing this system.out.println, we are facing problem if you are using this circular referential problem. Because let me just explain. Now it's there is no problem. If you run here, there is no problem. Let me just run the problem. But sometime you observe, then you should know what is the problem. Our application is started, and let's I check this all student, right?
Right.
And this is the my all courses. This is the my student API, and just I test student. So there is no problem. Here I am getting the complete response. Notice here I am getting complete response. But notice here in the response, what I am getting output. Like here all, this is the something, right? That means we are not written the two string method, right?
Right.
In the short solution, I am going to say, hey, student, I am going to the student class and say, hey, I need a two string, okay, Lombok. I say, okay, I need a two string because it is not make sense. How I can understand what is the meaning of this, right? What is the meaning of this, right?
Right.
And let's just problem. We are just for our debug purpose. I have just added two string method, right? Two string. And now notice the problem. Your application there is no problem. Just you want to print the data. Just you want to print out the system around the printer. Then and you observe what the problem you get. So let's server is started, and again I'm started. I'm going to just test my again the same endpoint, right? Yes, same. So notice here there is no problem. Notice here, uh, here you are getting too many data, right? Too many data, right? But notice course have a not a dependency, right? Because course have a notice here my Anis courses. what are the courses. So you say, oh, I missed the twisting on the courses, right? You go and say, hey, I missed the twisting on the here. Say, hey, I need the twisting, right?
Right.
So, you can go and add the annotation. I need the twisting, right? And again restart. So now it's good, and let's test. Notice you are getting the error, right? You are getting again the same problem. You're a circular dependency. Two string method are going to make a problem. Why? Again same problem, because two string means ki first we are going to print the this name and going to the course again you printing the this name again going to the student, right? Student again you printing this name again going to the course. In this way two string become in a loop, right?
Right.
So whenever you are using the two string method, be carefully think. You cannot if you just comment this line of code as system.out.println, your application is very fine. Someone say, what the problem, right? If say right, if say restart, and notice just only problem about this printing this two string. Whenever say write the method println, they by default invoking your two string method, right? Our two string become inside a loop, right?
Right.
So in this case, we have to be carefully using this tools. Now it's started. Yes, it started. And notice I am getting my data, right? So only what I change, I just comment this line, and our application is working fine. But sometimes debug purpose, I want this. I want to analyze key what the data printing I'm returning, right? So what the solution? What the solution you can hear. So Lombok also given the solution for you. So Lombok say, yes, you have any problem such situation. I can also give you option which field you want to ignore, right? Which you want to fill include, right? So Lombok also given this address. If some time you are facing this problem, again you test here. Again you facing the problem because we are. This is the problem, right? This is the problem, right? So how to fix this? So you can go again. You break this circular dependency. So how to break? Again, this is the problem with only two string. So here Lombok have a one more option. Here say for this field, I want to don't exclude. So here say at the rate two string dot include or exclude. Just select exclude, right? Just mention this so that key Lombok also break his circular dependency for two string method, right? Study notice in the two string method we manually remove this field, right? Courses field, right? And just restart and you are address your problem. So please note whenever you are using the Lombok two string method and the circular dependency many to many, again you are facing the same problem which you already address, because not. So for those you have to ensure that you say I am including this field. And let's test, and again same endpoint I am testing and I am getting the response, right? And
Yeah.
here I am able to notice, I am able to see complete details, right? Here notice.
Right.
So this is the way you can analyze all the data on the backend as well, right? There is no circular problem because here you say in the course field, I need the ID, a name, but I don't need again a student, right? Here you say, yeah, I don't need a student fields again, right?
Right.
So any confusion, any doubt?
No, that's all.
So this is the way this problem. This is not a problem with the Hibernate. Please view. There is no problem with the database, no problem with the Hibernate. This is the only problem the way you are displaying data, right? For displaying data, I am using a Spring Boot. That means you are using the JSON to convert Java to JSON, JSON to Java, right? The
Right.
problem with demonstration. So how to fix those demonstration? If using the JSON, then you can use JSON annotation. If you are using the Lombok to two string problem, then you have a Lombok to solve the problem like include exclude, right?
Right.
So just little bit annotation help us to solve to displaying the data. The problem is not to storing data. Problem is not to the database. Problem is not to the Hibernate, right? Problem with just to displaying data on a browser or the server response, right?
Right.
So it is clear how we are making many to many relationship. Just use this many to many annotation, right? Many to many annotation.
Right.
Internally, they create one mapping table. And before ensure that you are going to the bi-directional, means both direction you want to check data. In the second direction, you write the mapped by and the first one. So here say ki you are not the owner to this means this many to many mapping say ki I am not owner to create the table. Who is the owner? This is the owner to create the mapping to mapping table, right? I am just using the created by these courses. The same name here, the same name. What is this same name you have to follow here? If you change the names, compiler is unhappy, runtime you're getting exception, right?
Right.
And this is the one-to-one mapping, and all other fit and fine. Only problem to displaying data. So those displaying data due to the circular referential issue. So you have to just use this JSON ignore property and just ignore the some fields so that you're logically breaking the loop, right? And if you are using the two string method, please ensure you also need to break the loop using this exclude field. Which field you want to exclude, right?
Right.
So these are the basic annotation, and just and these are the basic create and get endpoint. There is no problem, right? No problem. Only this is the today we understand one more uh, endpoint that take a two input parameter. One is student ID, one is the course ID. So this is the endpoint we are introduce one mapping, right? Here we are mapping which student study which courses, right? And this mapping make establish relationship between this course and student. So what we do from student ID, I say find by the student ID, get the student detail. For course ID, I find the course ID, course detail, and now say, hey student, this is your course, course student dot courses dot eight. Because student object have a course table, right? This is the course list. A list means we have to add the here due to that I am saying hey add, right?
Right.
Courses add, and just after that you want to save the student. Once you students save, they are going to save the mapping table. This is the mapping tables are by default always updated whenever you are saving this line in the student. Whenever student save, student now have a course. This course and student linking are updated in this table by default. Like here student 3 or student 2, 2 is really one subject. Maybe you can change this here, say no, student 2 to read the 3 as well as, right? Just run here. So this mapping automatic updated. Now student 2 read the 2 subject, right? So let's do practice this, and this here is the very simple, just need some basic annotation, right? Is there any question, any doubt for today?
No, no, yeah, yeah, I, I got it. But I would do a practice. It
Yes.
needs yeah.
So these are the kind of
This
relation.
one is by far is little more work. This
A
one.
little bit we are doing something more, right? Okay. So let's do practice. Any doubt, any confusion, we'll again discuss. Don't worry, right?
But this one is more advanced, right? In a
Not
real life.
advanced, yes, need as what you system design. You want to many, so due to that, right? You want to simple one to one, other, that's not easy, right?
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Yes. Yeah.
Here, from the relationship, there is no need difficult. Just say many to many. Just one hint annotation you have to this line. Don't create multiple table, right? And
Right.
these are just display issue we have to fixing, right?
Right.
Let's you are doing practice now, then it's become so easy. Until not practice, look like very complex, right?
Right.
And even you can here create some other endpoint like a get, delete, update course, get, delete course, all in everything's work fine for you, right?
Right.
I think we are good for the day.
Yeah. We are good for the day.
And if you want to understand more mapping detail, please refer this Hibernate documentation page, right? They have
Hibernate documentation. Okay. Okay. Hmm.
well documented each and every all the mapping, whatever you understand, one to one, one to many, many to many, all are the place with complete example and mapping and notation. Each and everything is mentioned here, right? This is the good
Okay,
part.
sir.
All the documentation, example, code example also given, right?
Right. So these are the standard.
Yeah, this is the standard for this Spring Data JPA. Spring Data JPA internally is Hibernate. So we have to follow the Hibernate documentation.
Right. Right.
And good.
Thank you.
Thank you.